What's going on, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Today I've got another NBA discussion video for you guys, and in today's discussion video I'm actually going to be talking about whether or not I think the Golden State Warriors should actually trade Draymond Green, or should they decide to keep the core that they have now and try and compete with it. Again, I'll be answering all of that in my personal opinions and all that type of stuff in this video, and just looking at trade destinations that the Golden State Warriors could potentially send Draymond Green to, and players that have been rumored to be traded for Draymond Green, and obviously maybe some teams that I think could be very interesting. So I think we're going to start off with that. Let's start off with the first team that I think Golden State should, potentially look to trade Draymond Green with, and obviously then a bit later, I'll kind of discuss whether or not I think the Warriors should trade Draymond Green or not. So, the first team that I think could be a possibility, we've talked about this before, if you guys haven't seen, there's a lot of rumors going around right now that the Golden State Warriors are actually interested in trading for Rudy Gobert, and the Utah Jazz actually may have some interest in Draymond Green. Now, the reason I've spoken about this in another video before that I highly recommend you guys go check out if you haven't already, which is linked in the description down below. Or well, maybe if I do remember, if you guys just want to go check it out on my channel, of course it will be there too. But pretty much there are a lot of rumors going around that they could do a swap between these two players, and then obviously a couple other assets would be thrown in here and there. But the reason I think this could actually be a real big win-win for both teams, although this is kind of, changing the way Golden State have always played, recently in that small ball type of lineup by getting Rudy Gobert, I think this would actually be a very decent move for the Utah Jazz as well. For those of you who haven't seen, the Utah Jazz don't really have a point guard. I mean, they've got Mike Conley, and Conley hasn't been playing exactly that good all season. Has actually had a really, really rough year. There's rumors they may look to trade him, or they might just keep him for another year. And yeah, pretty much they literally have no playmaking at all. Donovan Mitchell's their best playmaker. He averages about 4 to 5 assists per game, I do believe. Well, I think this another thing that they do struggle at as well is they don't necessarily have a power forward, and they lack defense at that power forward position. Bojan Bogdanovic is currently their power forward. In my opinion, I've spoken about this before as well. I think Bojan is one of the most underrated players in the league, but I just don't like him at power forward. I do like him at that small forward position, and I think that that's what they need to do. And then potentially Draymond Green can now come in and play that power forward position, and of course bring the much desperate defense that they really need. And of course, as well, along with that defense comes that playmaking as well that the Utah Jazz definitely need on their team. Obviously, they barely have any playmaking, and I think, yes, they still probably need a playmaking point guard, but again, just bringing another player in like Draymond Green, I think is a very, very good option and a very good decision for them. And yeah, they could probably give up, Gobert to go and stay. They could probably get back, Draymond Green, maybe a player here and there, maybe a first round pick or something like that. And then, of course, they can maybe go sign a center in free agency. But, of course, they've just addressed a little bit of that playmaking issues, and now they've finally got their starting power forward that they desperately need. And obviously now they may save a little bit of cap and now can go look to try and get a center, or maybe even trade Mike Conley for a center or something like that. Again, that's what I definitely think could definitely happen. It's probably the most likely team that Golden State would look to, kind of trade with. It kind of makes sense for both teams. I mean, Rudy Gobert now can come in with the Golden State Warriors and can play that center that they desperately need. And of course, I just think this would be a very good match, and yeah, something that I definitely think could actually happen. Now, a couple other teams that were rumored were actually the Miami Heat, because the Miami Heat also need playmaking. Don't necessarily need defense, but they definitely need a power forward, I'd say, because Bam's been playing that power forward type of role for the majority of the season, while I think Bam is a center, and yeah, Myers Leonard's just been playing that center spot, obviously. So yeah, if they played, Draymond Green would come in and play that power forward now, and he'd bring in as well the desperate playmaking that the Miami Heat would 100% need. As yeah, the Miami Heat don't exactly have that many good playmakers. I mean, Bam and Jimmy do lead the assists and all that type of stuff. Goran, when he comes off the bench, also helps out too. But Kendrick Nunn's not the greatest playmaking point guard, and I think if they could get Draymond Green to play that power forward position along Bam Adebayo, I think that would be a very interesting decision. Obviously, yeah, I think they're definitely going to be trying to get a power forward in free agency, whether that's going to be, Draymond Green in a trade, or maybe Danilo Gallinari in a sign and trade, or maybe they just might sign Danilo Gallinari or someone like that. So again, I think this would be a pretty interesting move by the Miami Heat, and I could see something like that potentially happening, and of course, yeah, that would be kind of interesting. Now, there aren't exactly really too many other teams that I could see trading for Draymond Green other than those two teams. I don't think any other team would really want Draymond Green or needs Draymond Green that much. Obviously, maybe if the Cleveland Cavaliers wanted to look for, a trade for Kevin Love and maybe wanted to bring in that defense and playmaking, Draymond Green could be a really interesting player. But again, I'm a pretty big Cavs fan and I don't really like Draymond Green that much. But of course, maybe if he got traded to the Cavs, and actually performed, he would actually bring some smiles to Cavs fans because, yeah, a lot of Cavs fans don't really like Draymond Green. But of course, he does fill in that playmaking and defense that the Cavs do need. It's just whether or not, what would be the trade, because I would definitely want, a first-round pick as well with Draymond Green if we're trading them Kevin Love, because again, Kevin Love is just probably, yeah, he's so much better than what Draymond Green is. I mean, a lot of players have been this season, so again, Draymond Green doesn't exactly have that much value anymore, but I really like the move to maybe trading him to the Utah Jazz. I think that would be a very, very good move, and to kind of answer the question, should the Golden State Warriors trade Draymond Green or not, I'm going to say it honestly depends on what they are, going to look for in the future. Because obviously, Eric Pascal can do Draymond Green's job nicely. He won't have the playmaking or defense, but he still can play that small ball power forward position, and they really do need a center. And I think Rudy Gobert could definitely be a player they do look to try and get. But of course, some Golden State fans would rather them, draft potentially James Wiseman or Onyeka Okongwu, as again he could play that small ball center type of role. But of course, I think there would definitely be a lot of really interesting things to kind of go into it. And yeah, who really knows what the Golden State Warriors are going to potentially do? But I honestly think the Utah Jazz and the Miami Heat are the two teams that will most likely be looking forward to try and seeing if they can get Draymond Green. A couple of other teams, as I was talking about, the Cleveland Cavaliers, they desperately need some playmaking and defense. So I think Draymond, he can come in and maybe fill out that role. And of course, with potentially JB Bickerstaff and how he coaches, it might actually be an underrated move. But again, I'm not exactly liking it too much. I do not like Draymond Green's contract. I would rather, get a younger player to maybe develop like Obi Toppin or Denny Avdija. So that's just my personal opinion. But yeah, again, we still need to move on Kevin Love somehow, in my opinion, as well. But of course, I think the Golden State Warriors probably shouldn't trade Draymond Green, but if they are looking to try and get a player like Rudy Gobert, maybe that might be the move. Or if, again, I talked about it in the Ben Simmons video, if they can have any chance of getting Ben Simmons, of course you trade Draymond Green to try and get Ben Simmons. But that's if there is any chance. Obviously, there's probably not, and the Philadelphia 76ers probably won't trade him. But I think the Sixers could potentially use Draymond Green as well. But yeah, I definitely would way rather Ben Simmons if I was the Philadelphia 76ers. But of course, Golden State should definitely look to try and trade for him. But anyway, I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel for the latest NBA content and NBA news. Don't forget to subscribe to my gaming channel and my IRL/vlogging channel. Links for them will be in the description down below. And definitely don't forget to go check out my podcast as well if you haven't already, check that out. And just leave a like if you enjoyed the video. Comment your thoughts and opinions on, are the Golden State Warriors going to trade Draymond Green? What team should they trade him to? Utah Jazz, Miami Heat, Cleveland Cavaliers. What team should the Golden State Warriors look to trade Draymond Green to? Again, I definitely would really like to know your thoughts and opinions on this all down below. But as I was saying, thank you guys for watching. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, and comment. And I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.